I never know what to do when Instagram lives begin, right? Like, you know how in those 90s sitcoms, they would just be like in the kitchen and be like, if they were caught in the middle of something. I feel like that's what I should do. Like, hi, okay. But anyway, this is not about me and yapping about 90s pop culture, although I'd love to. I'm actually here to be joined with three fantastic mutable signs. And you know what? I say, let's get started. Our first mutable sign is here. And I am doing this because I'm sure you know we're in the middle of eclipse season. On Monday is the lunar eclipse in Gemini, right? And then 2 weeks later, on December 14th, is the solar eclipse in Sagittarius. Hi, Scotland! Oh, I want a kilt so bad. One of these days, okay? And so what I thought I could do is just bring on three mutable signs to complete the mutable real power here. And we can chat about anything you want to know about related to the lunar eclipse in Gemini. Joined with the very first one in chronological order after mine, Gemini. Okay. So hold on, standing by. And baby girl!
Hi.
How
Long
are
time no
you?
see.
I know. It's been too long. It's 2 hours. It's not enough. CK, introduce yourself. Tell us why you're fucking here and what the fuck we're going to talk about. All right? Go ahead.
First of all, I love your shirt.
Thank you.
You dressed for the occasion.
Yeah, I'm trying to be subtle. How am I doing?
I don't think subtlety is a Leo rising strong suit.
It isn't, and I like that you say that with dimples in your face because you know exactly what the fuck we're talking about. So CK, say hello, talk about why you're here. Let's hear it.
Hello, community. My name is Cara. It is so nice to meet you, and I'm a Leo rising, just like Colin. In case you weren't picking up on that. But I'm
Very
a
obvious.
Virgo, so I got the mutable earth going on, and we are here today to talk about inviting you to join our community.
That's
because
right.
we need community so much right now. I was teaching a class this morning on ancestral healing, and we were talking about how in quarantine and in the energy of 2020, it can feel isolating and you can feel alone. And I wanted to remind everyone that we're alone together. If you're going through something, somebody else is going through it. And Colin and myself and the two other incredible healers that you're going to meet over the course of the next hour have created a space that really, really welcomes and invites everyone from all walks of life. We have people who tune in from all over the world. We have people who stay up till late at night in Australia to join us.
Yes, we appreciate that.
We do. And I think creating community with you, Colin, and with Nina and Camelia, who will be on in a little bit, has been one of the things that I'm most proud of that we have done this year. And it's been such a fun space. So we wanted to invite everyone. Oh, hello, fellow Virgo NYC Colleen, excuse NYC Colin and NYC Colleen.
They're interchangeable, totally interchangeable. Go ahead.
But we wanted to invite you to join us in this space and to tell you about it today. And for those of you who've never met me before, I'm an empowerment coach. I'm a third generation practitioner of ancestral magic. And I am passionate about merging what clinical psychology and sociology and intersectionality is teaching us about personal growth and development with spiritual practices and ritual that help you become the most inspired, authentic, and happy version of you.
Period. Everybody gets a standing ovation. And now there's so many like mutable angles into what you just said. I kind of want to start, CK, with how you said alone together. I thought that was really mutable and definitely getting us in preparation for the lunar eclipse on Monday and for the solar eclipse in Sagittarius. And I'm curious, how do you connect to Virgo as a both end energy, as a two for the one, as a thinking that's both planned and structured and organized, but also really spontaneous, receptive, and light on their feet? How do you connect to this tension?
Yeah, I'd love to get an emoji from people who have Virgo in their charts who relate with what I'm about to say. Because even though Virgo is an earth sign, I feel that we are the least grounded of the earth signs.
Oh boy. Okay. I'll tell you when the emojis come through. Go ahead.
Because there is such a profound polarity in like, yeah, we know we're going to get it done and we're going to do it probably better than you, right? Like, I think the kink of a Virgo is like, let me show you how I can just do it so exactly correctly that you're going to be amazed. And you better be amazed. And that within that, it creates a kind of like self-criticism or neuroses that is very ungrounded. And that is like the deepest way that I personally resonate with this polarity of like, I'm an earth sign, I'm reliable. You tell me to be on time, I'm going to be 2 minutes early. I open this live chat at exactly 2 o'clock. You know, like I'm going to show up for you. And then also internally, I have some like all the time about doing that.
Yes, yes, yes. And I love how you just like showed the emotional reflections of being a mutable sign. It's like, I'm punctual, but I'm nervous. I'm organized, but did I say it correctly? You know?
Yeah.
And I think, and you got a lot of funny emoji participation in sort of being, you know, the ungrounded, grounded Virgo. And I'm curious, how do you think that your mutable energy has really contributed to the way that you navigate COVID and the election cycle and everything that you've gone through, and how that helped you just on that level first? Go ahead.
I think it's even in what you said. It's a yes and. Like, I'm sad and I'm upset about this. And I think that something that mutable energy really gives us is the opportunity to pivot, and what the universe and what the astrology of 2020 and the astrology of 2021 will continue to do is invite us to all be in the energy of yes and. Like, I'm sad and I'm still going to show up, and I'm angry and I'm going to try to figure out how to talk to people who have different opinions from me, which is something we talked about. We'll be talking about at Moon Crew on Monday. If you join us, Moon Crew, by the way, we haven't said it yet, is the name of the community that we're talking about today.
And a typical mutable sign, we're like, oh yeah, you join our community. Oh wait, where were we? I know. I'm sorry. I know. Go ahead.
But I think it's that process of like acknowledgement, and like it doesn't stop there. And we shift and we move and we recognize that there's always an alternative route that we can take, even if it's just like going internal to self-soothe for a few minutes. And that we all need that. We all need the ability to be flexible, because your ability to show up for change is really going to support you in times of hardship. And we've all learned that more than ever before this year.
Without a doubt. And are you kind of met with any specific polarities in your life right now? And what sort of tips are you leaning on that you can share with other people that are watching who are maybe experiencing the tension of activity, rest, or grief and joy, open-heartedness and close-heartedness? Oh, and yes, so you can connect with Moon Crew. I'm going to share all our profiles right in the captions, and our amazing Sagittarius. I know, the best, the best. And can I just say, I think big mutable energy is the Spice Girls, like just coming together.
Which one are you?
I loved Baby Spice. I totally connected to her. I just appreciated her whole aesthetic. But I think now I would probably be a Scary Spice Sun with a Sporty Spice Moon.
Who do you think I am?
Oh my God, a triple ginger? Are you kidding?
Thank you, that's so right.
Right, Sun, Moon, and Rising Ginger Spice. Girl, please. Okay. So now, what polarities are you seeing right now in your own life, would you say?
Yeah, and thank you, Camelia, for putting all the information in the chat about Moon Crew. If you're interested in joining us, it's donation based, and you can just check in the chat. Camelia is sending you all the orientation. But Colin and I were actually talking about this before we got on the call today, about polarity that I've just experienced, you know, in my life this week. So one of the things that I am really passionate about is ancestral healing and recognizing that, yes, we are our stories. And there's been a ton of scientific research that has shown that trauma lives in the DNA. It can be genetically inherited for generations. So we all inherit limiting beliefs, blocks. We inherit systems of oppression. We inherit ideologies, and also laws that we need to change. Like, we inherited the Constitution. We inherited the Electoral College. So one of the things that I love showing people is that, yes, we inherit our stories, but we are more than our stories. I think that there's the polarity of we are spiritual beings having a human experience. We are always safe in our knowing, while we might feel deeply unsafe in our circumstances. And as we look at dismantling systems of oppression, which Colin and I will be on here in a week or so talking about this as well, because I'm launching a whole year-long program about this that Colin's going to teach on, and the other two people that you're going to meet today are going to teach on, and it's going to be a powerful container for ancestral healing and life transformation, and really diving into this work and community. But this week I was teaching a bunch of free classes about ancestral healing to talk about the program and invite people into getting to know about it and getting interested and excited about it launching. And at the same time, I was looking at my own ancestral trauma. My uncle died of COVID. It'll be a week now tomorrow. And it was a surprise. We didn't even know that he had it. He had, some comorbidities. It was a pretty quick, like a pretty quick experience of just all of a sudden we found out that morning. And while teaching these 200 and some odd people about ancestral healing, I'm getting off the call, and like all the ancestral trauma in my lineage is like in my house this past week. People, I was telling this to Colin, we hadn't been talking to some of my relatives because of their differing political opinions, and there's been like a little bit of a difficulty confronting some of those harder conversations, as I'm sure that a lot of us can relate to this year. And mortality, it really is humbling in the fact that like none of that mattered this week. And people that I haven't talked to in 6 months, like we're on the phone every day, all day. I love you. How are you? And I was also noticing in myself, because I wanted to show up and hold space for all these people in their journey of ancestral healing, that I was like really compartmentalizing. And I was putting up a big wall of like, I'm fine. Everything is fine. And that's an old pattern. That's a pattern I learned from my daddy, right? It's an ancestral trauma pattern. And I went right to my old coping mechanisms, like in the midst of teaching people how to stop doing that while being confronted with a whole new experience of trauma. And I think that when we're talking about mutable energy and we're talking about the astrology of 2020 and like what is really being asked of us in our own lives and in a community, is that it's yes and. I'm sad and I'm showing up. I'm processing, and it's safe to do so, and I can still lead. That I can still connect in grief. That vulnerability is more powerful than walling off, and confronting those polarities has been. And when we look at eclipse season, eclipses shine a big old spotlight on what we need to let go of, what we need to see, what we need to know. And I feel like I'm getting a little preview of that this week.
Yeah, and you received many condolences and apologies for your loss. So I thought you ought to know that. And because the eclipses are in polarity signs, right? We have the lunar eclipse in Gemini and the solar eclipse in Sagittarius 2 weeks later. I'm real curious, where do you think that mutable signs can address depolarization and how we can show up and sort of say yes and more effectively? What kind of quick tips would you have for mutable influence folks to really stand in that power?
Yeah, I think that that's going to be something important that we cover. When we were having our Moon Crew meeting, the four of us getting together and talking about what we want to address on Monday night at Moon Crew, it was how to have conversations with people who have opinions that are different from you. And I think pre-election, there's so much like internal agita and this like stress of showing up that it maybe wasn't the time to think about how to get even more effective in our communication skills. And as Gemini, sign of communication, Colin is teaching Gemini season in the Ancestry program that I'm launching next year, on the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction. Colin picked the start date of the program, obviously. Thank you, Colin. But this idea that if we can't communicate with each other, we cannot address the deeper issues of what is going on. So one thing I would really recommend is to go listen to the Oprah Super Soul Conversation podcast that she had with Nelson Mandela, because I listened to it this week, and he was talking about how being in prison for 27 years taught him how to have empathy enough to be able to communicate with the people who imprisoned him to eventually become the president of the country that imprisoned him. And I think that journey in and of itself is a really inspiring way to start to think about how we can see the humanity and the humility in people who are just so far from the page that we're on, that we feel angry and unable to communicate. And I think the beauty of mutable energy is that we are so well equipped to show up from those conversations with a willingness to receive a difference of opinion that is so far from our own that we might call it crazy to our friends, but
That's
we
right.
can hear it. And
That's
we
so true.
need that right now.
Yeah, we do. And I think that what we're confronted with right now is, okay, how do I navigate my immediate objection to difference? Enter the mutable signs, right? So CK, thank you so much for slam dunking it in Virgo fashion. I'm loving this. I kind of want to do this all the time now. I'm like, okay, Virgo, tap, now Sagittarius. And CK, where can folks find you? And the key details about Monday's Moon Crew event is, go ahead.
Oh, and thank you, first of all, for having me. I know everyone on this chat loves you. I love you so much. We're working on you not making faces when I give you compliments. We're going to work on that. Would you work on that with me?
Enter like Virgo, Gemini, like siblingdom. Okay, yes, I work on it. And I'll just grit my teeth.
Everyone wants to love you. Receive the love. I know Gemini is like, ooh, like that's a lot. The love is a lot, but just receive the love. Drink it like a glass of fine wine. Let it be in your body. If that's how you want to take it, that works for me.
Chug, 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 chug. Good. Thank you, sweetie. I appreciate you.
But yes, if you want to find me, if you want to stay in touch, obviously my Instagram is on here. It's my name, Cara Kovacs with an underscore. I'll pop it in the chat while I'm watching my other two friends come on. And you can also find Moon Crew at the link in my bio. Camelia just put it in the chat as well. So the link is up there. It's donation based. So you pay what you can. We're donating all of the proceeds to Honduras disaster relief. And I'm really grateful to say that since quarantine has started, because of your donations, Moon Crew has donated over 5,500 to charities and COVID relief funds and Black Lives Matter organizations. So another thing that I think is really important when we talk about magic and we talk about community is making sure that we're being intersectional, that we're looking at reparations, that we're looking at redistribution of resources. Magic needs to be spread across the world from a space of love, from a space of egalitarianism, and having the ideals of really being the people that we want to see in the world. So we invite you to join us in that space. It's so cool because so many people from Moon Crew have made friends and so many people from Moon Crew are joining my ancestral healing program as friends. We're going to do an in-person retreat someday when we can all get together again. So I invite you into that. If you have any questions about the Ancestral Alchemy program, just shoot me a DM and Colin will be on here with me talking about that in a few weeks as well.
Yes, I love it. I love it. CK, thank you. Our shining Virgo headmistress. We adore you. We will let you have your fantastic Friday. And I think I'm going to try to do this carefully by logging you out, but I'll let you like wave as I do it. You ready?
Bye, guys.
1, 2, 3. Okay, I think we did that. Wow, this is so fun. Okay, love you so much, CK. The Virgo has left the building. So now, if you know mutable chronological order, after me, Gemini, and we just heard from Virgo, who comes next? The birthday bitches, Sagittarius, okay? So I'm standing by on the request from our in-house Sagittarius, Camelia. Camelia, let me know if you need any questions or if you have any issues logging on, because this is the first time I've ever done like a kind of roulette energy, but it feels really mutable in its expression, which I really love. So that's right, Sagittarius, you guys already know. So they're my polar opposite sun sign, and here they come. Hold on 1 second. Here we go. Okay, I believe it's working. You know, Mercury's not retrograde anymore, so hopefully this will work. So I'm very excited, and we can gather in the solar.
Hello.
Oh, Camelia, I hear you. I hear you, but I don't see you yet. Hold on. It says connecting, but I don't see you. Okay. But anyway, leave it to the Gemini Sag to be like, are we doing this right? So I hope that you guys are already feeling the Gemini Sagittarius energy. Here we go. Requests, I believe. Here we go. Send request. I think this is working. Oh God, please work. Because I love a Mutable Magic Hour moment. Hold on a second. Connecting. I think we're good.
Can you hear me, see me?
I can see you and hear you. Camellia, welcome. Hello. Hi.
Happy
How are you,
Friday.
my Sagittarius? What's that?
I am super blessed and super grateful to be with you. Oh my goodness, girl. Thank you for your patience. I'm sorry. I hope that you can hear me. I'm in Brazil on the sovereign land of the Cayeté people, which is a very Sagittarius sort of thing for me to be on a different continent. But the internet isn't always that great, unfortunately.
Right, I know. How Sagittarius is that? I'm so sorry. I'm not in the United States. I'm elsewhere. I love it. Camellia, happy Sagittarius season. Thank you for being here, okay? Feel free to introduce yourself and tell us what you're looking forward to for Sagittarius season and a little bit more about your polarity. Go ahead. Oh no, hold on. It's freezing again. Camellia,
Definitely.
can you see and hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
yeah.
I'm, again, so sorry.
Reorienting right now. No worries. It happens. Technological issues. Go ahead.
You're a goddess. So I am, oh my goodness. I am a philosopher. I identify with that as a Sagittarius. I am a lifelong student. I am in a master's program for traditional Chinese medicine. And my undergrad was in Africana studies because critical race theory is life-saving technology for us to dismantle the actual pandemic of white supremacy. Yeah, and I'm just always trying to learn and eventually on a very, very long path of reclaiming the Chinese medicine of my ancestors.
Beautifully said. And wherever you are, the service is impeccable. So I know this is like anathema to the Sagittarius.
Stay right here.
Say, like, sit still, don't move. Okay. So I'm curious, how do you connect to mutable energy? I know Sagittarius isn't the only mutable sign energy that you have in your astrology. But I'm curious, how do you connect to mutable polarity, the energy of both ends, not only but also by one? Let's hear it.
It's queer. It's so queer. Because like there's this inability to be contained. There's liminality. There is just this expansiveness and the way that nature is always changing. You know, Octavia Butler, brilliant scholar of the future, prophet, Black woman, science fiction writer, talks about how the only constant is change. And then, like, my Chinese name for my grandma has Tao in it, and the way. And in Taoism, there's the I Ching, which is the book of changes. To fight change is to be in denial of life. And yeah, it's something, there's something very butterfly about it. There's something very transgressive and always becoming about being mutable that I think I used to think was something wrong with me, and now I'm really into it.
Yes, girl.
Now I think
it is, and I love. Can you just say that one more time? That to resist change is to resist life. Can you say that one more time?
Yeah, to stand in the face of change is to walk towards death. Might be another way. Like death is, and actually, I mean, death is another change, and it's a transformation and an initiation into who knows what. But as long as we're here, change is always going to happen, whether we like it or not. So I feel like we're pretty good at being like, well, let's go. Here we go.
Big mutable energy. I know. We really can't help but just be forever in motion, and I love that. So now, how do you kind of connect maybe mutable energy? And I know we love this because we have so much Capricorn in our chart. How do you connect mutable energy to very like practical to-dos? Like, what does it mean for us to be, okay, both ends, okay, keep it moving? What does that look like for you on simple, behavioral choices?
Spirals. We go spirally. Like, I'm a Virgo rising and I love being a Virgo rising. But my Sagittarius mind will definitely just go in a spiral. Yeah. And I learned so much from disability justice theorists and like neurodivergence as a framework that like going A, B, C, linear is like, that's not how nature works. Nature is fractal. So I find myself more in flow when I'm like, okay, I'll probably have like 10 ideas, and then I'll just try to get back to kind of this similar spot in the spiral. And then just, instead of trying to like, if I force myself into a mold of it has to be A, B, C, then I'm going to be really sad.
Yes, and like bored. I'm probably bored, right? I know, it's just like absolutely, that's just hilarious. And I'm also realizing, I know we didn't say we were going to talk about this, so if you're like, and no, change the subject. You are a Sagittarius in a really wonderful relationship with your polar opposite sun sign. So because you're in this romantic relationship, I'm real curious, how do you look at polarity pairs and the Gemini Sagittarius kind of energy and chemistry from that vantage point?
I love how we care about the same kind of things. We care a lot about knowledge and information, but in different spheres. So I'm basically always in looking at what we would call the past, and the like quantum physics nerd in me wants to be like, but is it the past? Are all times co-present? But like, I'm like, you know, I'm always trying to find like the 5,000-year-old Chinese medicine stuff that my like greats did. Like, that's all I want to do this lifetime, right? But my bae, my sweetie pie, he's a computer scientist. So he speaks like Python and C++ and all this stuff. So I'll be like, oh, help me. I don't know what my website is doing. Can you fix it?
Okay, I couldn't agree more, because I just spent like 48 hours with my amazing Sagittarius mentor, Ophira Adu, one half of the Ashto twins, and her in her Sagittarius glory has helped me technologically like so extensively. Like we flipped the roles, because she was helping me with MailChimp and login. I'm like, you do it, I'll just speak, I'll do whatever you want. And it was a beautiful, like, I love the mutable tag team energy of just like, hey, these are my strengths, these are yours, let's bring them together and not have any objection to the fact that where you pick up where I leave off. And I just fucking love that. I love the Gemini Sag, like, let's talk about vision, let's talk about ideas, let's talk about quantum science and computer science. Well, and speaking of very interesting ideas, I know we did say we were going to review this. Can we just talk about how with, girl, go ahead, just, I'm not even going to intro, speak.
Yeah. It's a real big problem in the spiritual, astro, woo-woo, magic, hashtag community to go into like some seriously, honestly anti-Semitic fantasies of like QAnon and shit that is like really not real. Like the Sagittarius in me cares a lot about truth, and it's just like straight up not real. There's no facts to it. It is fantasy. And it's like this escapist dogma, like boogeyman that literally like the historicist in me is like, whoa, these tropes, like the metaphors they're using, the imagery they're using are so reminiscent of the anti-Semitic imagery of the 1500s. What the fuck? Like, and it's racist, blah, blah, blah. Like, for whatever reason, Jupiter-Pluto conjunction, perhaps, like people in the sort of spiritual, under the spiritual, like, circus tent have been going towards these fantasies of a boogeyman that doesn't exist, and like it's the worst of Sagittarius energy of like this like dogma, because there's this holier than thou thing of like, oh, but I know about this conspiracy that you don't.
Yes.
And like and it's really dangerous, because I think the worst of Sagittarius is like when we are in full flight. Like, it's good to look to the horizon, but if we're just always running away from reality, that's when we're really just jackasses. We're donkeys. And like, it's really sad to see, like, to see the far right and the spiritual folks just hobnobbing in the QAnon like rooms. And I feel like it makes spirituality a realm that's really unsafe for marginalized community. And it's just like intellectually lazy, the Sagittarius in me would say.
Yeah.
Like, it's like not reality. It's easier to escape into our fantasies than it is to look at like, oh shit, like, no, there's like very mainstream, well documented evidence that like, oh, we're in the Anthropocene because we're destroying the planet. There's like, all of the scientists agree. Like, oh, no, it's white supremacy. There is an entire field of critical race theory. Like, it's not this secret hidden mystery of a cabal. It's like all of us co-creating a system that we know doesn't work.
Yes.
And that's the escapism that is the worst of us. So I hope we can not do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what you're advocating for instead is, again, back to the mutable both end. For whatever reason in popular discourse, if we're talking about spirituality, it's somehow perceived and or perhaps articulated in mainstream popular culture as anti-intellectual. And I know that we were talking earlier about how we can bring critical thinking and grounded based, studies and information from multiple sources to spirituality. Tell me what that looks like for you, bringing the critical thinking to spirituality and esoterica. How do you approach that? How does that sound and look like for you?
Yeah, babe, I love it. Well, so the centaur has 4 hooves on the ground.
That's it.
And like my soul is always looking at the horizon, aiming my arrow to the stars, blah da da. But just spiritually, there's a reason we have human bodies. We are in matter. We are matter and spirit, but the energy has a dwelling place. If not, we would be ghosts. So like there's a sacredness to the body. Like, Sonia Renee Taylor talks about how oppression can be a vague word that we're like, is this a giant like hammer pushing things down? What is that? She calls it bodily terrorism. That systems of oppression work is like, because that wording makes it like, oh no, this isn't just ideas. It has material consequences and people die. So like, if my job was to just be in communion with the divine all the time, 24/7, I would be a sparkly star in the heavens. Yeah. And that's cool. I think I did that for maybe like 3,000 years. Who knows? But for whatever reason, right now I'm in a body. So I have a mandate to do stuff in the body. Like in Taoism, like there's Ken, heaven, earth, and then we are the meeting point. A lot of systems have that. The Trinity, like we are supposed to be this union of like the yang of heaven, the spheres, the cosmos, and the yin of earth. We are the meeting place, the crossroads. And like we both have Neptune and Capricorn. So I feel like the tagline of Neptune and Capricorn is like, no spiritual bypassing. Ground your spirituality. Like, get to work. Is that too much? Be of service.
Yeah, is that too much to ask? And also, where my Gemini ask is going for, like, real simple application, not that anything you said wasn't, but just like, let's just observe it.
Sure.
Is that if you are not getting information from multiple sources, make no mistake, there is no critical thinking. And the definition of critical thinking, and I'm curious to know if you've heard this or if you have any criticism or counter-arguments or validation, is where we can hold competing ideas and not choose one or the other as more inherently valid.
Ooh, that's good spiritual exercise, like on the tightrope, because, I think that a big thing of QAnon is like, and that phenomenon is being terrified of change and being resistant to change. And so grabbing onto some kind of thing that seems solid, that seems like a life raft, so you won't have to deal with all of the adaptation. Like we're living through such like acutely accelerated change all the time. The level of change that we're being exposed to is more than any of our ancestors were. Like just the technology and everything and the amount of information overload we're in. So like it can feel like a cyclone. And so like grabbing on, if I just hate on them, I'll be safe. Like it's a very tempting anchor, but it doesn't keep us safe.
No.
And that's where it's like not loving to enable it. It's just like denial kills. It doesn't help. We're in COVID because denial kills. It's really serious. That's the Neptune and Capricorn of me, of like, yeah, the spirit world is important, but spirituality in service of all living beings, all sentient beings, like I feel like that's what I came here for. And anything other than that, if it's just like, can I accumulate as much wealth as possible by manifesting the law of attraction? Like, that sounds like some, I don't know, like some delusion.
You know, thank you for saying that. I think where most people are at with law of attraction manifestation is they're realizing, okay, I have some power here, and I'm learning this on the personal level. And I think what you're advocating for is don't stop at the personal. Go to the relational, go to the national, go to the environmental, go to the racial, go to the economical, go to all these other arenas by which you can bring about self-actualization, justice, and peace, not just the purview of your personal circumstances. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
Totally. Look at your Gemini reflection. Gemini is the best listener. I will have no Gemini hate. My love of my life is a Gemini. My Mars is in Gemini. My midheaven is in Gemini. I love Geminis. Thank you for being such a good listener.
Please, thank you, Sagittarius, for being like, oh, okay, here's a vision of what's possible for you when you remove your head from being shoved up your own asshole. That's what my Sagittarius friends do for me all the time, and I just appreciate it so much. Okay, and so we have about 5 minutes left, so I wanted to ask you another thing. Is that you offer meditations in Moon Crew. Can you tell me about why meditation is one of your favorite modalities? And maybe is there something mutable about it in its approach and in its theory?
Oh, yeah. I mean, and so I'm going to be mutable and contradict myself with joy.
Come on.
So I love, I love how in meditation space, I'm not limited by my body. Because this is a wonderful body. It is so good to me. It's immune system. I love it. It is such a gift. And also, in the way that the words that are coming out here, to use more than this, like, I'm a soul that's had a lot of lives, so has everybody. And I love that in meditation space, there's an expansiveness. It's a field of possibility where we can meet with, like, positive ancestral forces and other energies. And, you know, the Neptune and Capricorn in me always wants to bring it back, like call on the other support and be, hey, can you help me be honest? Can you help me be brave? Can you help me da-da-da? But I love going to commune. Oh, no. I love going to commune with more than human reality in meditation space because there's a freedom. Like, in this plane right now, we're all incarnate during a time of, you know, where it seems like it's a war between life and death, between forces that are invested in continuing racial capitalism, which just, like, manufactures and exports death. And it's really painful to the soul. And, like, I think that I came here to try to be of service in the service of life. But being in this gunk all the time can be really exhausting and can really, like, drain me, and I can forget who I actually am beyond this life, beyond this body, which is really all of us.
Oh. Camellia, I'm so sorry. I think you're fucking spitting straight fire. That Instagram is like shadow
Sweetie
banning your
pie.
truth. Do you think you can say the
sweet.
last? Oh no, yeah. Can you say the last 60 seconds of what you just shared? I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, yes. And oh, no. Thank you all for being so patient with this journey of, outside of the U.S., things are different and often better, but
yes.
Internet is a challenge. But, like, in the meditation space, I am my actual soul, who is non-binary, and but more than non-binary is, like, butterflies and whales.
Oh no.
Black Woman Poetry Collective, they said, oh, my love, you're so amazing. Are you back? Are we back?
You're back. You're back. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, is that for Black women to be free, everyone else would have to be free, because our liberation would necessitate the destruction of all systems of oppression. They said like, I might be, like, saying different words, but that's the gist. So really, like, the systems of supremacy and bodily terrorism that hurt most Black people and Indigenous people hurt all of us. None of us are free. Really, 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 it's not like we're not free. There's because we're so deeply interconnected.
Absolutely.
And we are each other's keepers, are each other's magnitude and bond. Like a Black woman wrote that, like, I think it's Gwendolyn Brooks, that we are so much more than these bodies, and meditation helps me return home.
Yes, 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 yes. See, I appreciate you so much. Thank you, Camellia. Happy Sagittarius season. I hope the lunar eclipse in Gemini, conjunct your midheaven, just gives you all of the dialogue and healing and elevation and promotion and all the things that you desire. You are outstanding and illuminary. And so Sagittarius, it's like, I'm so sorry. The Wi-Fi in Brazil, it's difficult. Okay, so I love it. I'm here for it always. Thank you for your wisdom and your brilliance. I appreciate you so, so, so much. And I will be tagging you momentarily. So I'll see you on Monday, hon. Yay. Bye, Camellia. Mwah. Love you so much, honey. Bye. Oh my God, this is a blast. Okay, so thank you, CK, for tagging Camellia. So we've had Gemini the twins, Virgo the maiden, and Sagittarius the centaur. Up next, we will have, last but not least, Pisces the fish, okay? And so I will stand by on my next guest, Shekinah Davis, who is just a fucking movement. You have to experience Nina to just understand the brilliance, the wisdom, the genius that she is. And so, Nina, let me know if you need any help tagging us in. But this has just been so fun. I love being a mutable sign. I don't like to overly self-identify with like particular things in astrology because, you know, we're all of our astrologies. But if I had to like pay membership dues, I would pay membership at the House of Mutable Signs. Like, there's no fucking question about it. Okay. So Nina, let me know if you need email requests, instant requests. I think, oh, here she comes. Okay. Hold on a minute. Last but not least, we have Pisces, the grand finale of astrology, standing by in 3, 2, 1. Hold on a second. Okay, coming, connecting. We'll see. Oh no, coming momentarily. Oh, Sag married to a Pisces. Yeah, see, then you understand. You totally understand. You get it. Yeah, we're all about making sure that we're connecting and that we are in that space of progress and adaptability and flexibility. Nina, it says connecting, but you're not here yet, so that's really weird. I might try, you know what, I'll send you a request. And it wouldn't be a mutable sign like Kiki without a lot of fuckery. That's why I love being a mutable sign. It's just like, it's always a party, okay? Hold on a second. Here we go, N-I-N. Oh, almost there. Stand by on the last one. Send request, okay. Just sent the request. Wait, you see her? I don't see her yet. That is bananas. Okay. Who knows if this is working? and leave it to the gem. Oh, there you are. Nina, can you hear me? Is this in real time? Let me just make sure.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you and see you. Yes. Okay. They're like, we saw her. I was like, I fucking did it. Leave it to the Gemini. I'm like, I have my head in the clouds. She's in the water. Nina, my darling Pisces sun, please introduce yourself. Tell the folks about who you are, why you're here, and all the things that Moon Crew can offer everyone. Go ahead.
All the things. Hi, my
things.
loves. It's Mutable Pisces time. I brought the water to you as much as I could.
Yeah, you did.
Hi, my love, Colin. Why are you aging in reverse? Are you using Pharrell's new skincare line?
Okay, stop it. You know what? It's called a filter, and it's called your boy has some serious, like, retinol night serum, you guys, that I swear, I don't know what magic is in it, but your skin's like, I love it. Go ahead.
Okay, well, hook me up afterwards. Hi, everyone. Thank you all for joining and staying for so long. Thank you, Cara. You're always amazing. Thank you, Camellia, the Sagittarian fire, even from Brazil. And as you guys can see, Moon Crew is international. We're global. And outside of that, I'm pretty sure our frequencies reach outside into the omniverse. Okay,
yeah,
we're just powerful. So my name is Nina. I'm a spiritual unicorn. Okay. But my given name is Shekinah or Shekinah. And Camellia mentioned being able to dwell here, to be able to bring what's in the spiritual realm down into earthly matters, and why we need a body, a container. And so my name means the container. Can you talk about Virgo, Venus relation to Pisces? I will try to get to that.
That's
So
beautiful. Your name means the container. I never knew that. Go ahead, say more.
it's the divine feminine, or the receptive and co-creative energy sent to dwell in this earthly body and in the earth realm itself. It's a marriage, just like the twins. There's this deep connection. You know, twins experience marriage before everyone else does.
Stop.
You
I'm gonna cry. I miss my sister. Okay, my twinnie. Go ahead.
They experience being tied to someone in one place. You can't go anywhere. You're gonna have to work it out, you know. And you'll have some twins that are born, some are bigger, the other one is smaller, or they're always holding hands. And it's so amazing that you're a Gemini and your sun is in my 5th house.
That's right.
So we're always having fun. We're always shining together.
That's
But also my sun sign is Pisces. And I feel like Gemini and Pisces get along so well because they deal a lot with the imagination, and they're movable. So Gemini starts. Gemini has that spark. Pisces takes it and says, okay, now baby, let's make it bigger and let's make it real. How can we make it real?
Yes.
You know? And Gemini is the first sign that gives direction. So we look to you all, where Taurus plows the field, gets things ready, plants the garden, starts planning things out. We're going to build this. We're going to have a foundation. Gemini comes in as a contractor and says, hey, we need the windows over there. And I saw this house, this inspiration. Oh my God, they had like a clown restroom. Have you ever seen a tour of Penn and Teller's house before?
No, but in true Aquarius rising fashion, you're telling me this. So go ahead. I love it. Educate me.
They have secret doors and you think you're going into the restroom, but it's not. And then it's a mirror, or it's a whole clown room where you think you're going into the kitchen. It's absolutely amazing. So Gemini has that energy where it's like, I can take the infinite and channel it down and put it in containers. We call those words. Okay. So let me put this energy in a container to use. Gemini, we know, rules the hands. We gesticulate all the time. These are our wands. These are our first wands. So abracadabra, here's my wand. So let it be. Boom, 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 boom. So if you can't get to a stick, if you can't get to your specially ordered wand, you always have your wands with you. And even if you don't have fingers, okay, anything you point, you can point your tits to the sun. Those can be your wands, okay? You can say to the universe, right now, I want everybody to kiss my ass. I'm upset right now. And you can have that experience and tap your booty and poof, there it goes. And you might find you just don't like that. So, exactly. So I'm this lovely Piscean energy who's always looking to have fun with Geminis and to help them to explore and expand their imaginations to make it bigger, because Leo energy, my son, Gemini in the 5th house cusp,
Right.
is in a fixed sign.
Right.
It's fixed. So how do I talk to Geminis in a way that will bypass their fixed thinking and bypass that loop that they've gotten on, to pull them out of that, to say, hey, your train of thought is going nowhere fast. Nowhere. And when I do that, especially with the work that I do, even with Moon Crew, a part of my job is to always be the perspective shifter. As an Aquarius rising, I'm Uranus ruled. Yes, the Hangman card is considered a Uranus card or a Piscean card. Either way, you got to play it.
Yeah.
And that gives you a perspective shift. So I love switching things for people and showing them, hey, have you looked at it from this angle? Woo! You guys. And then much like Geminis, I ask them, well, who are you talking to? First and foremost, when you're manifesting or you're putting things out into the world, or you're practicing the law of attraction, who are you talking to, honey? And are they listening? Because the first person that you have to talk to is yourself.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And
And
the switch that you just provided. Go ahead. Yeah.
enter the switch. Mercury deals with mirrors and quicksilver. Mercury appears to be a liquid, but it also appears to be a solid, but it can also change depending on temperature. So the question is not only who are you talking to, but who taught you how to change? Who taught you how to change your mind? Who taught you you were in charge of your mind? Also taught you how to spell, And what language do you use to spell? Some of us spell with computer language and binary code. Some of us spell with what we would call loving words and poetry and culture. Some of us spell using astrology, cardology, human design, the I Ching. Some of us use gene keys. Whatever it is, you can come up with your own language. And Geminis, the twins, are known for having their own language. Understand yourself.
Oh, it's true. It's true. Ninah,
I don't have to stop there. You go ahead.
No, Ninah, I just wanted to just confirm that this is what Ninah offers in Moon Crew. Is, I think, back to the beautiful Gemini-Pisces relationship, right? Because Pisces is two fish, Gemini is two twins, you know, two people as twins, is that Ninah and I have this kind of really helpful methodology where she walks people through how the zodiac story is a continued conversation, and it's cumulative and it's entirely holistic. And so then I will enter the Gemini quality and say, and then here's how this is operationalized in very specific behavior with evidence-based studies and very quick little 5 to 10 minute strategies on polarity management or shame resilience or emotion regulation. And that's why I love the Gemini-Pisces connection, because it's very much similar to Gemini and Virgo on Earth as it is in heaven. Pisces clearly ruling the heavens, and Gemini and Virgo really trying to make sense of how it's spoken about on Earth. And so you basically led us through a sermon. These are your first ones. Gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. And, yeah, is there any more you have to say about that, or may I ask you some questions?
Go ahead, ask away.
So, my beautiful and brilliant friend, what do you think of mutable energy really contributing to this moment, the great adaptation we're all in, you know, pre-COVID, post-COVID? How do you believe that mutable energy can extend its efficacy right now? What would that look like?
To extend its efficacy. Ooh, I like that. So run a history lesson real quick, because it's really hard to know where you're going if you don't know where you came from, but we're not going to stay there, okay? So when the nodes went to Leo and Aquarius, literally the universe said, oh, honey, I'm going to need you to show up on time. I'm going to need you to know your lines, okay? Because you were the star of this show.
And that was 2017, everybody. Go ahead.
2017, there was an activation, a solar activation, the beginning of something. And then we had the nodal axis move into Cancer, Capricorn.
That's right.
So now you know that you're a star. What I need you to do is, thank you for graduating from Juilliard, darling. You did very, very well. But I'm going to need you to shed some of the mannerisms that you picked up from your teachers, from fellow students, because those are going to serve you in the new role that you're playing. Moon Crew has Cara as our Cancer moon.
That's
okay.
Right.
So it's so beautiful that Moon Crew was started by Cancer Moon, who takes us back to the past, back to our subconscious, to ask us again, who are you talking to? What voice are you using? Whose language are you using? Is that your mother that's flirting? Is that your dad that's asking for the promotion but didn't do the work? Is that your uncle? Is that the priest that told you this or that? Is that television? What is your programming? And the Cancer Moon says, this is what I want you to understand. When you start spelling, my love, when you start writing this story, to spell means to tell. As soon as you start telling the story, the Cancer Moon or the moon says, and this eclipse says, okay, now that you told me this story, Mama's going to start making the costumes for your show.
Ooh. I'm
going to need your exact specifications, baby. What's your size? Don't lie about your weight. Don't lie about your shoe size, because you're going to be wearing this for a while. Okay.
I love it. What do you
Cancer Moon. Camellia and I are both Scorpio moons, but our nodal axis is actually this Gemini sun here. His moon is in Capricorn. So we have the Cancer Moon and the Capricorn moon, who both take you back to the past and say, is this the conditioning that you want to include in your script now? Because I would rather you take those traditions that don't work, again, remove them, or make a plot twist, boo. Can we have a plot twist?
Who doesn't want one of those right now? Okay.
One of those. And then here's the editing part. The Virgo rising in Camellia says, I'd like to edit. Our Virgo sun, Cara, says, I got you there. Can we make sure before you go on stage, before you share your ego, because again, Cancer is going to make the costume. This is a costume that your Leo ego is going to wear. So now we have the nodal axis in Gemini and Sagittarius.
Right.
So I gave you a nice retrograde season, baby. I put everything back. I reset time for you. Stop getting mad because you keep saying, if I could just go back and do it all over again. And the universe is like, I'm abundant in that. You get 3 retrogrades a year with Mercury, sometimes 4.
Right.
I will allow you to go back and clarify, are these the best parts of my parents or my parental figures or my guardianships? Because everybody met someone in their lives that has changed their lives, and everyone for the better. And sometimes, woo, the show went a completely different way. So now the universe is asking, have you been studying your lines? Have you been paying attention? Can you please stop playing? I said this in Moon Crew before. Can you stop playing the part of a stand-in or an extra or the tree near the exit?
Right.
Can you stop pretending like you are the understudy?
That's right.
Because again, if you keep understanding and understudying, how are you ever going to rise to the occasion when the spotlight is on you? Okay. So now do you have the lines memorized? Now is it inside? Now do you understand the inner workings of this character that you are going to play? Because baby, the moment that you go on stage, when the nodes shift, now we're going to ask, where's the value? We're going to see the value that you've been putting in this new story that you're telling. We're going to see the value that's coming out of your spell work. You telling. So I want to ask you a question, dear Gemini. Is it actually show and tell, or is it tell and show?
Oh, well, I just got chills, so I think it's tell and show. And
it's show. So what story are you telling? Moon Crew allows us to dip back into the past and not stay there, but to say, oh, that's where their root was created. And now we can either use shears to snip it off. We might have to get a hammer, an axe. We may have to bulldoze the entire thing, but it's okay because we know that this mutable energy, that's a part of the process. Mutable energy, we're the gatekeepers.
100%.
We're the gatekeepers.
And in the enlightened sense, not the in the
enlightened sense. In the enlightened sense. Or we could be the solitary confinement keepers, where you go into this mental zone with a Gemini energy. Mercury, in order for you to be tricked by someone else, you have to trick yourself first. Because Mercury is a messenger of the gods. And if God is not the author of confusion, not just pen author, but the authority of confusion, if you are not the authority of confusion, if the universe is about one verse, one song, rather than an 8-part disharmony, then that means that when you allow yourself to use the one twin who is all in the astral and and I'm just having fun and I don't really have to make it real, and I can just keep asking questions and questions and questions, but never taking the information in and then alchemizing it to tell a new story, a more enlivened and enriching story. Can you start telling some effervescent stories in 2021, please? Tangeray from Humans of New York showed us how to tell an effervescent story and keep people watching.
Yes.
So wherever Gemini is in your chart, always look to the opposite. You have to work as a team.
That's right. That's right.
This is the first place in the chart where you split, where your mind splits, where you can drive yourself crazy because we know that the moon rules lunacy.
Right.
So uncrazy the fuck out of yourself during this eclipse. That's literally what it's saying. It's like, oh, we get to use all the languages, okay? Uncrazy the fuck out of yourself. Make sure that you're paying attention to the offers that happen in Moon Crew. Make sure you have an offer when you come to Moon Crew, even if it's just your lovely energy.
That's right.
Okay? But there's a space for you to be able to share the value that you have. We're all practicing with each other. We're all practicing. We pay each other to practice with each other. We pay each other to learn from each other. It is never a one-sided process. So we can value what everyone brings to Moon Crew. Your comments matter. The breakout sessions matter. You know, you taking the time to show up really matters, and to share what we do. We're here as your gatekeepers.
That's right.
And this responsibility very, very seriously, but we also know how to have fun.
And that's beautifully, I I know this is just how she speaks, P.S. Like I've gone just on random walks with Nina. We've been in hot tubs before. We've been on rooftops. And this is just straight up how the fuck Nina talks. Like this isn't her, you know, performing and presenting. This is truly Nina's eloquence, clearly daughter of preachers. And what I wanted to say was that back to having fun, that's the beauty of, I think, being a mutable sign, is that what we can be both educating and entertaining, right? We can give that kind of, yes, entertainment and educational. We can take ourselves seriously and lighten the fuck up, right? And I'm definitely seeing mutable energy as bridge builders and world colliders. I have one quick question for you before it'll kick me off. How do you see mutable energy as really relational? How do you see, because we just demonstrated that here just now, right? We have Virgo, Sag, me, you, the four mutable signs. How do you see us being relational?
I see us moving into a place where we're not focused on each other's strengths or weaknesses. We're just focusing on who you are. Not to say that we don't have strengths and weaknesses. That's great. But when we pit them against one another, we kind of, our relationship gets lost in the sauce. What we're doing is creating a lovely feedback loop. That's what guys do. They constantly are creating a feedback loop. And then Cancer nurtures it.
That's
but
right.
Before we can get to Cancer, we have to remember that we think emotion only pops up when Cancer comes into the picture. No, our emotions create our thoughts. Not our thoughts create our emotions. Because babies aren't able to share their thoughts, but they can damn for sure share their emotions, and you can interpret those, and that's the first language. You know, so our first language is to learn how does Colin speak. He's an 8 of clubs in cardology, very cerebral. He's going to have a lot of amazing friends. He wants to know people. He wants to remember people, and he wants to make sure that every relationship he's involved in is transformative.
Oh, that's true.
You know? So now that I know we talk about love language, but our speech and our talk, our vernacular, those are part of our love language. That's how we express our love language.
That's right.
So you know where someone's Mercury is, and you're learning how to communicate with them. You don't just get to say, oh, his Mercury is in Virgo and mine is in Pisces. Those are the opposite, and we won't work together.
Right. Nope.
That means that we're on the same frequency. We're just holding up either end, and we can always meet in the middle and then go back to our place of being comfortable and meet in the middle again. We know there's going to be some friction, but that is how we learn. I think as far as us being relational, when we respect the process of growing with one another. Sometimes you're the teacher, sometimes you're the student, sometimes you're the teach student, okay? You're all up in the middle. But being able to respect that there is no one higher or lower than anyone. We're all here in this beautiful egg getting ready to birth ourselves. You know, twins don't sit in utero going, you know, I'm going first, right?
I tried, but my sister was like, not on my watch. She came out first. Go ahead.
Yes, I believe twins. One twin will say, I want to protect you. I'm going to go out first. Let me go check it out first. You know, make sure everything's okay.
Oh, don't make me cry.
So taking that twin energy, we are all twin souls. There's a reason why we can't meet everybody in the world at the same time in this physical body. We're here to create certain relationships with people that are on our frequency, that are here to grow us. So relationship-wise or relationally, or when you get your relations on, okay? What you're looking for is connection or contact. And I always say contact is the secret. It's not so secret. If you're willing to make a true connection with someone and listen to them and listen to the way that they're speaking to you and take that language, and you all create something new, a new story between you. It's called a composite chart. But if you create this new story of how you can evolve together, that's how relationships are going to work in the next few years. How can we evolve together? We cannot stay in the same space. Every time we meet, we find a way to argue, self-sabotage. We'll come together, but we don't know how to sustain the project, and then we don't know how to end it. Us mutable signs will show you how to end some things so that you can shift into the new beginning, and how to not sit in the middle and confuse yourself. We got you, boo. Come to Moon Crew. Okay?
Yeah. Nina, I swear to God, you really are an iconoclast. I mean, that is the word for you. That is your word. I will never let anybody else self-identify as iconoclast. I'm like, no, Ninah Davis. Okay, so we'll just say really quickly, Nina, thank you so much for blessing us with that wisdom. I hope you saw the comments. So like, we love your glasses, you're preaching, we love you, could listen to you talk all day. So obviously I'm going to tag you momentarily. And just to be clear, let me make sure I have the date right. We, the 4 mutable signs you just saw, we will be hosting Moon Crew this Monday under the lunar eclipse in Gemini. Tickets are available via Zoom. Tickets are available via Eventbrite. We're meeting on Zoom, so that's in Nina's link in bio. It's about to be in mine, and it's from 7 to 9 Eastern Standard Time. Correct?
Yes. And
Yeah.
if you're looking for any classes or offers with me, click the link in my bio, go to my website, and go to events and classes. And I so appreciate you all for showing up and for your support and love. And I can't wait to see you, everybody at Moon Crew. Come, 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 come.
I know, I can't wait. And it's just like pure, beautiful fuckery and like family and just dancing, enjoying connection, support, and space holding. It's the best. And I love being a mutable sign. I really feel like we are the Spice Girls. We just appear together, a lot of glitter and glamour and girl power, and then everybody go back to your fucking life.
Yes.
Yeah, right? It's the best. I love it. Nina, thank you for everything. Give all your kids a hug for me and your beautiful Taurus partner, okay? And you are the best, and I will see you on Monday.
Peace, guys.
Bye. Wow. I mean, again, I definitely don't want to overly identify with particular parts of astrology. We're all of it, right? But man, I really fucking love being a mutable sign. And yes, Professor Ali, it is every full moon. So we're meeting under the lunar eclipse in Gemini on Monday to honor that one, but it is always under a full moon. And that was just so much fun. Oh my God. I know, it was insane. It was like just pure mutable sign. Like, I love it. And that's, I'll tag Nina and everybody momentarily. This has just been such a joy. And I hope you know wherever you have the mutable energy in your chart, that's where you can grow. That's where you're in the both end. That's where you're in the not only, but also. That's when you're in the wilderness. That's when you are sort of saying, well, is that actually true? Because according to who? Let me change my mind. And I'm sorry, but just really the most impactful relationships I've ever had were mutable sign folks. So I love it. Love being a mutable sign. Anyway, thank you so much for joining. Wishing everybody a wonderful weekend. Hopefully we'll see you at Moon Crew. I'm about to share this to my link in bio momentarily. Oh, thank you so much, Tanya. And I just appreciate all of you. Okay? Happy Friday. I hope you